welcome back. Chris Bikerson here. Let's get this party started and jump right into it. We're on location today out in Iowa Falls, Iowa, getting some short rebar offloaded from the trailer before we jump back into our dedicated lane here, hopefully in the next couple of days. But hey, let's get started with Owner-Operator Basics Part 6. What could go wrong? Are you ready for those rainy days? One of the first things you're going to encounter that really hinder your revenue streams is going to be those pesky little delays. Now, those delays, they don't hit you that hard if you're a company driver. They hit you hard as an owner-operator, and I'm going to tell you why. How much does a 10-minute delay cost you? Depends on how you got your schedule set up, but I'm going to give you one example here of how a 10-minute delay almost cost me $3,100 in lost revenue. On this particular run, it was a Thursday delivery set for 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which for this particular shipper was the last one of the day. I got delayed on the road, even though I'd given myself plenty of time to get there on time. And, well, basically, I arrived at 3:10, and I had to do some begging and pleading, but the place that I was delivering to was a really busy place, and they were telling me that they weren't going to be able to unload me until the following Tuesday. Now, just to keep the story short, between that day and Tuesday, I had $3,100 worth of freight that I was supposed to be moving. Now, you might recall an earlier conversation we had about Business 101 and customer service. Unfortunately, I was a regular at this particular customer. All the guys there knew me. We all got along very well. I was always courteous and professional to them. They were always courteous and professional to me. So, even though they had sent their crane operators home, they kind of moved things around a little bit for me, and actually pulled a crane operator from another part of the plant and had him come over just to unload me. It was done as a one-time favor. Saved my hide. $3,100 is a big chunk of change because, like we've said before, those fixed revenues, the fixed cost, those don't go away. Those fixed costs are always there. So I got lucky that day, but there's times you aren't that lucky. There's cancellations, there's delays for, you name it, traffic jams, way stations pulling you in to give you that surprise level 1 inspection to take up an hour and a half of your time while they wait for the e-logs company to send your e-logs. The delays happen, the cancellations happen. Doesn't always cost you $3,000, but it pretty regularly will cost you a load or two during a week because of those delays. And that does hurt your bottom line, and it will push you into a point where you're actually at a deficit. So you need to be ready for that. That's why I tell you that, not to be doom and gloom. Lots of good weeks to make up for it. But you got to be ready for those weeks that are bad and that you do go negative. Now, the next issue. Breakdowns can really mess your world up. It's put a lot of people out of business, myself included. That's how my towing company went under. It was just a bad series of breakdowns that put me too far behind financially. It's a double whammy. Usually even more than the cost of the repair is the amount of lost revenue that you're getting hit with when your truck is sitting in the shop. Obviously, how bad of a repair job you need is going to kind of depend upon how long you're in the shop, but pretty much at the very least you can figure you're going to lose a full day's revenue for even something minor, possibly 2 to 3 days, 5 days, 10 days. God forbid you need something like an engine in-frame rebuild or something like that. You're going to be down 3-4 weeks maybe. That's an entire month of no revenue, and you've still got your fixed expenses that you're having to come up with, all those permits and license plates and insurance if you've got any truck trailer payments. So I'm not even going to try to hit on numbers because that's going to vary wildly depending upon, do you have a truck payment, a trailer payment? Do you have a truck that you've paid for? Is it an old truck? Is it a newer truck? It's under warranty. But just something to consider. While that truck is down, you have no revenue coming in. You still have fixed expenses going out that's going to push you into deficit. And then you've got the cost of the repair to contend with, depending upon what type of warranty program you may have, or what type of maintenance program you may be enrolled with a carrier that you're contracted to. Some carriers will pay the repair bill and the towing bill up front and take it back out of your settlements. Some might want to take it all at once. Some might take it incrementally. Some may say, too bad, you have to pay for it out of pocket. So again, all the more reason to be setting money aside out of those settlements. Don't view your settlement as a paycheck, but more on that strategy later.
I think you have the basic idea now. You just have to accept there's going to be those weeks that you're not going to have a lot of revenue. Depending on how you're set up, whether you're having your fixed expenses deduct on a weekly basis, your permits, license plates, etc., from your settlements, or whether you're paying those, out of your bank account, quarterly, yearly, monthly, whatever. There's a certain amount of money you're going to have to set aside one way or another each week, and there's going to be weeks where if you are running it out of your bank account and holding on to that money to make larger payments later, your bank account's going to dip that week as you pay yourself a check. So bottom line, manage this like a business. Your settlement's not a paycheck. Your settlement is revenue for the services you've performed that week. You need to have a bank account set up, specified for running your business, and you need to be paying yourself a salary out of your settlements, but you need to be setting portions of your settlements aside to cover all those weeks where you're going to be bringing in less revenue than what you have going out. So that's enough on that. We'll talk about it later. I'll see you at the next class.